Hello friends, my name is Gabby if we haven't met yet, and today I wanted to talk about intense emotions such as anger. Now, anger is a funny thing to me. I mean, it's not funny, but the reason it's funny to me is because when I was 18 and 19 and 20 and a little bit of 21, I was very scared of anger. Every time I would get frustrated, upset, angry, I would try to change my feelings as quickly as possible because I considered myself a very positive, happy person, and I thought if I feel emotions such as anger, then suddenly I'm this angry person and I'm not joyful and I'm not positive and I'm not, happy. In the last 2 years that I've been in therapy, it's kind of turned around because majority of the feelings that I've felt, I think, were anger. So this emotion that I resisted for so long and I was fearful for so long actually became something that was very predominant in my life. And I still am working through anger, but right now I learned more about myself and I understood where the anger is coming from. And I actually wanted to share this insight with you in hopes that it might help you in case you are, struggling with intense emotions. And that insight is that anger is grief and deep sadness in disguise. And at first, when I heard that from my therapist, I didn't really understand it because I was thinking, okay, but if I'm sad about something, if I'm grieving about something, why at all would I feel anger? One of the things that I'm learning right now with intense emotions such as anger is that I can't think my way out of these things. Like I can't think myself out of anger and frustration because there are so many emotions that have become so trapped in my body throughout the years that I just need to release it. Whether it's, crying or screaming into a pillow or going for a run, so I just really let go of all that energy, I need to physically move it out. So when he said that, when my therapist said that he thinks my anger might be like a defense mechanism to actually not feel deep sadness and grieve, I was a little bit confused. But then in one example, it was so clear how correct that observation was. Because anytime I have a racing mind, so anytime I think a lot of thoughts, I tend to think very fast, so my mind is racing like crazy, but also I speak very fast. So a lot of the times when I would go into a therapy session and I would talk about something that had really made me angry, I speak very fast. And what my therapist does is that he slows me down and he says, hold on a second, keep saying what you want to say, I don't want to interrupt, just slow down, just take a breath and slowly tell me whatever it is that you're telling me. And the second I slow down, the second I take a deep breath and then start talking like this, instead of trying to explain a situation like this about how frustrated and angry I was, the second I slow down, I start to cry. And this has been such a revelation to me because I understood that my kind of analytical mind or my racing thoughts and my very fast way of speaking is a technique that I do to cut myself off from feelings. So I will speak very fast and I will feel all this energy inside of me like anger, frustration, and I'm just gonna think it's anger because I'm talking really fast and I'm really angry and I'm really frustrated and there's nothing else underneath. But the second I slow down, I start to cry and I start to feel so sad. All this stuff is coming up from years ago, or I start having these revelations that I never even thought of before. It's been so insightful for me to think about the fact that when I sit with my anger long enough, I realize that it's actually grief and it's actually sadness. And this video that I wanted to share with you, it's not about why it is that way or how to solve anger and frustration. It's not about that. It's really just such a simple observation. Then again, it might not be true to you. You know, for you, it might be maybe sitting with your sadness long enough, realizing that actually it's disappointment. You can exchange these feelings for something else. But maybe one thing to think about for me, and you know, I'm inviting you to think about that as well, is if there is a feeling that you regularly come back to, how is it serving you? Because there's pros and there's cons to everything that we feel and everything that we think. And it's really counterintuitive for me to think of all the benefits that anger brings me. But anger is such an emotion that comes up regularly in my life, and it restricts me in some ways, and I really don't like it. But I really had to sit with it long enough to understand that actually I am so fearful and I am so sad about so many things that anger is trying to protect me from feeling so vulnerable and so sad. It took a lot of years and a lot of work for me to actually realize and for me to actually sit with my anger, to understand that there's something else underneath it. It's not about the frustration that you feel on the day-to-day basis. It's not about the anger that you feel on a day-to-day basis, because that can become so habitual. But if you really just slow down, sit with it, as silly as it sounds, literally sit with it, something else might show up. Frustration might be hiding disappointment. Anger might be hiding sadness and grief. Even happiness, compulsive, repetitive, fake happiness might be hiding really deep sadness. I was somebody when I was 18, 19, I was somebody that was so like happy and positive all the time. But now that I look back, I see on what a superficial level that was. I forced myself to be happy because I didn't want to deal with any of that stuff. And in the last 2 years, I've been mostly sad, angry, frustrated, disappointed, and my happiness and joy has been very, very little. And it's okay. I'm happy to pay that price because I know it's temporary. And right now, I'm dealing with all the stuff I never dealt in my life, and you know, I'm accepting it as what it is. I need to do some deep cleaning. Just wanted to share this insight with you. Maybe it resonates with you, maybe it doesn't. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for tuning in, and I would love to hear from you in the comments if this resonates with you, if there are any other insights that you might be able to share with me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.